Good morning, my name is Joseph Cameron. I'm 57 years old and we're in Laguna Woods, California on February 16, 2019. I'm from Trenton, New Jersey and lived there for 17 years as a kid, and then went to school in Florida for about 4.5 years and a couple other Navy schools. After graduation, I received orders to report to San Diego, California. Growing up as a kid in the 70s, basically on the East Coast, California was known for Hollywood and Disneyland and the nice beaches, and had a bright and sunny reputation in a lot of ways. Actually, the first two memorable things of arriving in California was I didn't bother getting a hotel and drove pretty much 3 days straight myself in this little 4-cylinder engine station wagon. And it was twilight, almost dark, getting into Death Valley. And I tricked myself that I thought somehow I was riding downhill, and my car was slowing down though, and I was actually driving uphill. But I stopped the car, and kind of a long story, but I was disoriented and confused a little bit, I think due to lack of sleep. And then the next destination, I somehow took a wrong turn and ended up in this Lawrence Welk resort complex that was stereotypical Hollywood, of all palm trees and stucco pastel colored buildings and very elaborate complex. That was literally, I guess, my first image of California as an adult. I had come out one time before with my family on a cross-country trip in a station wagon, trailing a sleeper trailer, and did go to Disneyland as a child. Don't remember much of it other than they weren't photographs, they were 35 millimeter projector slides that were the family heirloom of our trip. I was young then and that didn't really know much about it, but then I joined the ROTC though with a Navy program and went to school in Florida, which also has a reputation for beautiful beaches and a Disney World and the chill life. And I spent 4.5 years there. But then what brought me to California really was, actually I was literally ordered to come. That I was commissioned as an officer in the Navy and had to report for duty out in San Diego on August of 1984. But then I got down to San Diego, reported for duty, and was very busy down there for 7 years, active duty, living on a ship for the first 3 years, and then working off Coronado with the amphibious units for the last 3 years. Liked San Diego though, as far as general lifestyle and pretty chill. I think what started to make me like California too is that it is a state of immigrants for sure, that so many people from all over the world have come here under their own personal story, whatever it is. But it was very strange for me coming from the East Coast, where it was mostly ethnically Anglo and a lot of I grew up in a predominantly Italian community, but to go into a supermarket and there's people from India and Pakistan and the Middle East and Africa and Mexico and every place else, like it looked like some kind of international, it looked like the United Nations, all going to get their eggs and bread for breakfast in the morning. That was really, I found appealing actually, for just the diversity was very unique in contrast to the East Coast. Came out in '84, 35 years ago. 7 years active duty in the Navy, raised a family with 3 kids, and we had our mother-in-law immigrate out here and live with us for 10 years, and then decided to stay, lived up in Northern California. First 7 years were in Southern California, San Diego, 10 years or 17 years in Sacramento, and then 7 years on the Central Coast, which has its own unique beauty. And about an hour north of Santa Barbara is the Vandenberg Air Force Base, that also on technology is one of only a few major spaceports on the planet where we launch satellites and people into outer space. If I was making a brochure, I think that would be the natural beauty, the social fabric of a diverse, open, mobile, non-judgmental society that's led the way from technology to sexual orientation to a lot of positive things of respecting all life and each other, and then and that it's a great place to raise a family. So those are the beautiful gems, I think, of this place. On the negative side, of course, is that there's a group of people that'll take advantage of that, of blessings, and exploit people. And basically I'm talking about the tax structure and the bureaucracy and the law enforcement that have protect and serve on the side of their car, yet not to be too harsh, but it is a real problem that we have a neighbor. This is a retirement community, and if you don't mind, it's a major wake-up call is a guy 67 years old, worked his whole life, came to retire here. He was upset with his architect about the improvements on his property, and in the heat of the moment, I guess, apparently, it's hard to tell what's true or not true now, but said that he's going to kill that guy. And the real estate agent went out and called the cops saying he's threatened to kill somebody. And they somehow went in there and fired 5 rounds of lead into the guy and killed him in his own living room within weeks of his retiring. And to use deadly force in such a liberal way, to me, is a huge red flag, not only in California, but across this whole country. And I authorize or approve of use of this video in any way Alma wants to use it or anyone else. I release all rights to it. It can go viral if somebody wants to make it go viral.